What's up, you weirdos? Fever here. How's everyone doing today? Staying out of trouble? Yesterday, Bungie released a new Vidoc, and you know what that means. We officially have our finished expansion. This makes me a happy boy. The hype is real, folks, but let's be honest here. We're so hungry for any new content that Bungie could have came on stage, farted, dropped the mic, and we'd still be hyped. The Vidoc didn't show us a whole lot that we didn't know already, besides some glimpses of the new raid and trailers, along with Osiris and Aldrin, aka the Crow, aka the douche who killed Cade, and the breast pump is the background noise somewhere in Europa. I wish they didn't show us that, cause now every time I hear that sound I will think about it. Thanks, Bungie. We did, however, get a better look at the new Stasis subclass of mods, which has definitely piqued my interest because now I have more questions than answers, which that's never a good thing. And now that the dust is settled, I figured we could talk about what stood out to me, or more like I can ask a bunch of questions and get your input on it as well. In the Vidoc, they showed a hunter switching their subclass, and if you look closely, it says subclasses instead of subclass. Now I could be crazy, but is this a hint that we will be getting more new Stasis subclasses later on down the road, like in the next fall expansion? If you think about it, we have 3 subclasses currently which are attached to the light, so what if we get 3 attached to the darkness as well? Now that would be pretty cool. If we did, what subclass would you like to see? I think I'd go for something like the Thorn Devourer type subclass, and maybe some radiation or something weird. I'd have to think about it some more. I would really like to see variants of it attached to the current subclass as well, like maybe Stasis could be altered depending on what light subclass we currently have equipped, but we shall see. The next thing I want to talk about is the aspects and fragments. The aspects are tied to your Stasis subclass, almost like the current classes when you pick top tree or middle tree, and the fragments are tied to the aspects to better customize them or fine tune them, I guess you could say. If you look at the aspects closely, it shows fragment slots available, as if you can only equip so many fragments based on that number. Now we know you can find these aspects and fragments out in the wild, which, by the way, I love that idea, but I'm a bit worried about the RNG for some people unless they're tied to specific activities. But what I'm wondering is, can you find the same aspect out in the wild with 2 different fragment slot numbers on it? Let's say you get XYZ aspect with 1 fragment slot and then a second one with 3 slots. That would really bring the grind up and make it more interesting, but I also don't want to see another you have to have these hive barrier mods to complete this activity type situation. I've actually heard of players being excluded from activities because they didn't have certain mods, and that's a no-go for me. All hype aside, I'm really happy with the subclass changes from what I see so far, because one of the most disappointing things to me coming from D1 to D2 was the lack of skill tree customization. Are you happy with the changes so far, or would you like to see a setup more like the current subclass tree? Next thing that stood out to me was the chainsaw sword. It's a heavy sword that can cut through barrier shields. This thing looks amazing, and I'm sure it'll be fun as hell, but I have a feeling it'll be outshined by Ariana's Vow, because that'll do the same thing without requiring heavy ammo. And we all know how scarce heavy ammo can be, like in Grandmaster Nightfalls sometimes. Also, with Ariana's Vow, you don't have to get in the champion's face to take the barrier down like you would with the sword. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to use the hell out of it at first, just like everyone else, but I worry it'll get forgotten about or pushed to the side when the harder activities come out, but then again, I could totally be wrong. Other than that, there wasn't too much that really caught my attention, but I do want to thank Bungie for all the hard work they've put in to make this expansion happen, despite everything going on in the world. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, remember to like and subscribe, but more importantly, remember to be a good person to one another, and have an amazing day, please.